Assalamualaikum and hi to everyone. Thank you for watching this video. So in this video we continue on the mobile user interface and design pattern under the principle or designing the mobile application user interface. Okay, so UI it refers to the user interface. We go for the design patterns. What is the pattern in order to design the user interface? Okay, UI patterns provide a good starting point for specific part of an application. I mean, we talk about the pattern of the interface that we want to use in order to develop the mobile application. So there are endless UI patterns, example to be discussed in this chapter, in this discussion part. Okay, however, the objective of this subtopic is to illustrate the most common UI pattern and to differentiate how mobile design is different from the web or desktop application. So basically, we talk about the design pattern or the interface. Okay. A design pattern document known a good solution to frequently occurring design problems. Okay, first, when we talk about the pattern and the design, it's quite different with the web and the desktop because of the size of the interface when we use the mobile device. Okay, so in the most case, the patterns themselves become encoded as a user expectation. An application that violates common design pattern could jar and negatively impact the user expectation. So basically, before we do design an interface, we need to visualize what the expectation of our users when they use the application. Okay. So based on this figure, this is figure 1, this is figure number 2. You can make your own assume or your own opinion towards this interface. And I believe most of you prefer to have this kind of interface instead of this kind of interface. Why? Because this is out of our expectation, and this one is within the expectation. Okay, most of the user will expect this kind of interface compared to this interface. So in order to be useful, mobile apps or mobile application should be user-centric, focus to the user itself. And to be effective using an interface you have designed, people must be able to recognize what it is for and how to use it. So when you look at the interface, you already know as the user that kind of button, maybe for example, button is used for what and how to use that button. Okay, so this is the imagination and the visualization technique in order to expect what the user will assume towards the interface that you have designed. So there is simply no room for confusion, or do not make your user confused to the user interface that you design for your mobile application. Okay. One primary action per screen. Do not let your user do many things in one screen, so the user will be confused. Just put yourself in the shoes of the users of your mobile application. Okay, 100 clear screen is preferable to a single cluttered one. Okay, example, here we use Uber. So Uber knows that the goal of the user who use the application is to take a cab, a taxi. Okay, so the app does not overwhelm the user with other information. It automatically detects a user location based on the geo data And the only things user have to do is to select a pickup location. Okay, this is an example. What is the main action that the user will take when they go or look at your screen or mobile interface application? Okay, next part is about the navigation. Make navigation self-evident. So mobile navigation must be coherent, consistent, and communicate the current location. Okay, this is an example of the navigation. So that's mean when the user look at your interface, it's already know where to go, what to do, and it must be consistent, so the user will not confuse and not what we call tercari-cari when they want to use your mobile application. Okay, design finger-friendly target. Okay, when you are designing the mobile interface, it is best to make your target big enough so they are easy for users to tap. Instead of provide a small button, so you must make sure the size of the button that you provide to your user must be easy to access. The edges of the target are visible when the user taps it. So this provides them with clear visual feedback that they are hitting the target accurately. So you should give the user feel comfortable and easy to access to the mobile application interface. So this example, don't do a small button like this because the user are not sure whether he or she click on which button because the size is too small. So you need to make it big enough, so easy for the user finger to tap on the button. So instead of using this part, you should design in this way, big enough for the user to tap. Okay, instead of for the text content, it should be legible. When compared with the desktop, smartphones have relatively small screen. Okay, one of the challenges of the mobile design is to fit a lot of information on a small user interface. Okay, but fortunately, we can zoom in and zoom out to the text. Okay, a rule of thumb for mobile text should be at least 11 points, so it's legible at a typical viewing distance without zooming. Even using your smartphone, we can zoom in and zoom out. So you must consider that the text or the contents inside your mobile application must easily to be reached or viewed by your user without a further action. So for example, this one, when you look at this text content, it's quite difficult for you to read it. Okay, the heading, the subline, what are the text here, you are unable to capture using your normal eye. So you need another action, which is zoom in to the text in order to read what the text are. Okay, so this is the right way when you have a lot of text. So you must at least 11 point for the font size. Font size of your text must be at least 11 point. So without another action, they're able to read the text on their smartphone. Okay, another one, make interface element clearly and visible. Okay, you should use the right color and contrast to help the user sees and interpret your content. Help the user to use your application. So when you want to develop your application, you must help your user. Okay, choose primary, secondary, and accent color for your app that support usability, and ensure sufficient color contrast between the elements so that the user with low vision can see your app. I already look at your lab, the second lab. Some of you choose the background that unable or not allow the user see what are the things that you want to show up. So your background and the button or symbol or any image must be contrast enough between your background and your front. So easy for user to identify what are there inside your user interface. Okay, something like that. And make sure there is ample contrast between the font color and the background so the text are legible. Okay, example here. We have this kind of interface and this kind of interface. So which one is easy for you to read? Of course, this one is better compared to this one. So you must you should know to play around with the color. Okay. For those who have the color blind, it might be difficult. That's why in certain job description they are not allow the color blind to be a part of their team. That is not discrimination, but because certain job really need the person who are a normal person to be there. It is not a job discrimination, but the job itself need a person that able to differentiate the colors. Okay, this way, or for the interface design. Maybe if you have a colorblind problem, you can go for the programming level and not the interface designing part. Okay, that are just information for you. Okay, the next part, minimize need for typing. So typing on a mobile is a slow and error-prone process. So it is therefore best we try to minimize the amount of typing required when you design the mobile application. So do not ask your user to do typing more. So supposedly you just click, tap, drag, something like that. Minimize the process of typing because of the screen on your phone. So keep form as short and simple as possible by remove any unnecessary field. Just take the necessary field when you have a form designed for your mobile application. So this you can go to this link in order to explore more about the user interface design pattern gallery. So this one, Android UI user interface pattern for designing notification, and the other links, mobile user interface gallery, you can go for the mobile patterns, Android inspired UI.com. So these are the links that you can refer in order to get some what we call ideas on how to design the good user interface. So that's all for the user interface part. So later on in the next video, we go for the elements of mobile user interface design. So hopefully this video you're able to visualize what are the things that you should do and what are the things that you should not do. The do and the don'ts when you design the interface of mobile applications. So that's all. Thank you and assalamu alaikum.